Hi, welcome to the Tips and Tricks video series. I'm Andy Acker, Director of Education for North America.
And I'm Brian Bouchard, the Regional Manager for the Northeast.
You know, one of the frequently asked questions we get here, Brian, is how do we remove a tile over DITRA when the job's all done?
Well, we can talk about that, Andy, but first, why would we take a tile off the floor?
Well, perhaps it got damaged, something got dropped on it, like a piano or a bowling ball, something like that.
A little chip in the corner that we didn't notice when we installed it yesterday.
So now it's all grouted, the grout's nice and dry, the Thinset's fully cured, and we got to get that tile off of the DITRA, and we hope not to damage any of the tile around it.
Yeah, the first thing we want to do is remove the grout. If we don't do that, anything we do to this tile might send shock waves and loosen up 9 more tiles.
Okay, so it's time to take the grout out around the tile in question and isolate that.
So I'm going to put on my safety glasses.
Good idea.
And we're going to use this oscillating tool to remove the grout.
All right, those are pretty good because they don't create a lot of dust in the house because they don't actually spin, they just vibrate. And actually it'll help protect the tile around there too. It's a little more safe than using, say, a grinder. Okay, so we've isolated the tile. You got a lot of the grout out.
The next thing I'm going to do, Andy, is I'm just going to put this towel over the tile that we're going to be removing.
Okay.
And this will, absorb most of the impact from my hammer.
You go for it.
So this is going to prevent shards from flying in our face, and it helps reduce some of the vibration that could affect the adjoining tiles.
Okay.
We'll take a look. This is a hard tile.
Well, many times we've got a porcelain tile, very dense, very hard tile, and it's going to take a bit of work to get that tile broken. Now we've got some damage. You had to hit it pretty hard there, didn't you? And I see we've got some fractures that come over to the end, so that's good. So we're starting to get some fault lines in there.
Yeah, I still want to break this open so I can start working from, the middle out.
Right, we don't want to pry off any of the surrounding tile and maybe damage those. We want to pry from the actual tile we're going to remove itself. Now we got it. Boy, we've got a lot of stuff here that's broken free. So the nice thing about that is, you've got to be careful because porcelain can be very, very sharp at the edges. But now we actually see our bond coat underneath there, and you can get underneath the surrounding tile. So flat bar, great tool for this. And you see how we have a crack here that follows over to the edge, so that's good. And then the one over there, so now we can remove that piece. There you go.
Take a look at the coverage.
Yeah, I see you got pretty good coverage there. That bonds quite well. Now, one of the benefits of fracturing the tile like this, Brian, is that we're not disturbing the DITRA.
Right.
So we won't necessarily have to replace the DITRA. Many cases when we find the tile unsupported, like we mentioned earlier, it could be because the DITRA didn't get bonded to the floor. So in many cases we are going to take the tile and DITRA all up in one unit. But in this case where you got really good bond, it wasn't a question of bond coat here. It was actually the tile got damaged. This is probably the best technique to go for.
Yeah, and I guess the last thing we're going to have to do, Andy, is just remove this Thinset so we're back to the surface of the DITRA to reinstall our new tile.
Right, we'll want to clean this all up, get any of the remaining grout that might be bonded to the side of the tiles surrounding it, and as you said, get all the Thinset out so we have a nice smooth surface, and then we'll be ready to put the new tile in. There you go. Now starting to lift here, you can see that Brian is really taking his time. You don't want to rush this because if you get in a hurry and you damage another tile surrounding it, you're going to spend a whole lot more time now taking that one out. Here we can just focus on this one tile, take your time, be careful to not damage the surrounding tile. Well, that's not too bad, Brian. We've got a lot of the stuff out of there already. There we go. look how well that dovetail configuration held that tile in place.
That was pretty good coverage, Andy.
Yeah, that's good coverage. All right, so just a floor tool, scrape out the rest of the Thinset. The oscillating tool actually has an attachment that you could use, and that would actually kind of sand down the Thinset and get it all smooth, ready for the next.
Even a rubbing stone.
You could do that too, yeah. There's several different tools you can use. We use the electric one. A lot of people have grout saws that you could use, just a handheld little saw that you could use to get through the grout and isolate that. But there you go. I think a little cleanup and we'll be ready to put the new tile back in place.
Perfect.
Well, thanks for joining us. Hopefully this tip is going to help you if you ever have to remove a tile over DITRA when everything's all set up and grouted like this.
And don't forget to visit our website, Schluter.com, and subscribe to our YouTube channel to see more videos like this.